Hey guys, it's Jen over at worldofjencraft.com, and this is our project for today. I just could not wait to be able to share this with you. This card we are making on Friday at my coffee and a card and in the morning, and my cocktail and a card in the evening. And what that is if you live local in the Omaha area, we get together and we create one card, and it's $5 or free with a $35 purchase, and you get some coffee and snacks and chit chat, and then you get to go home with a really pretty card. So I decided to go ahead and do a video and show you guys who are not local to me how to put it together. Let's get on with the supplies. Oh, and I wanted to show you, okay, before we get on with the supplies, so I made two variations. This one I kept the soft sky up here in the four corners, and this one I did the pumpkin pie. So still the same paper in the middle, but essentially they're the same, but not. So this is the one that we are making. So for supplies, I use the soft sky enamel shapes, just one of them, and the classic weave ribbon, which is also soft sky. The sentiment I chose for this card is the Dragonfly Dreams stamp set. Any sentiment you have would work as well. I use the Layering Squares Framelits, the largest scallop from this. And this is where all the magic comes from, is this die set, which is the Quilt Builders die set in the brand new 2017 holiday catalog. So these are the dies that come with it. We'll be using these two right here to create our card. So there is a stamp set that goes along with this as a bundle as well, but I didn't use the stamp set for this card. And then I also use the quilt top textures. This is quickly becoming one of my favorites. Love, love, love it. Early Espresso ink is the only ink that I used for this. And I think that's it for the supplies that I used. So card kit, I do have an extra card kit already pre-made for you to be able to do it. And look, I even put it together for you. Just because I wanted to emboss to be able to have that texture for you. So that's why I went ahead and put it together. But look, I left you this extra supplies, the extra little papers that come out from my cuts. So let's see. This is what we're doing right here. All of these papers. So let me get them out. And we'll go over them quick, and then I'll get to the assembling of the card. Very vanilla cardstock is 4 1/4 by 11 for our card base, scored at 5 1/2. And then you'll have a piece of 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, and then a 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, and then you will use this die here to cut that down so it's the exact same size as everything that we're laying on top of it. So, and then Cajun Craze is 4 by 4 and 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, and we will use that piece to cut out our dies from. And Early Espresso is a 3-inch scalloped square. And then you will need a piece of soft sky 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, and that cuts out this. I'll show you as we get going. Pumpkin pie 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, and the Painted Autumn Designer Series paper. Isn't that just too cute? It was perfect for this quilt. 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 as well. So I think what we should do is I'm just going to go ahead before I get anything started, and I'm going to pull out my Big Shot so we can get moving on that. And let's see, how do I want to do this? Okay, so Big Shot, let me grab out these dies here. And I have most everything pre-cut except for this piece because I wanted to show you how I did this. So you are going to have this piece here, and that's going to go just centered in here. And then you're going to want to set this border piece, I guess, and, you know, try and make it as even as possible around the edges. So I think that looks about right. Hopefully it stays in place. And then we're going to go through and cut this. I'm going to leave this out here. I was going to take it away. So this is scrap. And then all of these little tiny pieces in here will also be scrap that you could use for another card if you wanted to. So this is all we're going to be using from this piece. Now I have everything else pre-cut and ready to go, but if I didn't, what you will do is you will take this just by itself and you will cut the pattern paper plus the pumpkin pie plus the soft sky cardstock, so you can get all of the insides of the quilt piece. So let's take this off, and I'm going to switch out my platform to my regular one. And you know what? I think I lied. In fact, I know I did. We're not going to do that right now because I want to do all the embossing at the same time. So this is where the magic happens. And if you guys have an easier way of doing this, totally do it your way. How I found is I'm going to run my adhesive over this whole entire piece. You could use a liquid glue or something to that effect, but I'm just going to cover my whole entire piece here with the adhesive. So that should do it right there. I don't know if you can see that, but my whole entire piece is covered with the adhesive. And then I'm going to stick this piece right side up, and that's just going to go at the very edge. And it's going to match perfectly because the same die that we cut out to begin with is the same one that we cut this. I don't know how to explain it any better than that, but we're just using the same die, so it will line up almost perfectly. So that's going to go on there, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take from the pieces that you cut and you're going to put them all inside of your little quilt piece. So I'll go ahead and put all of my pattern ones in here and fast forward while I do that. So that's what it will look like so far. It doesn't take too long to get them all lined up in there. And then I'm going to take my pumpkin pie cardstock and put the little triangles in to where they fit on here. And then lastly, I'm going to bring in my little squares of soft sky. Alright, so there's that. That didn't take too long for us to put together. And I'm not going to do that. This is where we're going to take our embossing folder and we are going to emboss this piece and this piece. So let me bring out my Big Shot again. And our plates. And the way I did it is, on your embossing folders, you're going to have one side that brings embossing, so it's debossed, so it goes down into. So that's what I did for this. So it looked like my stitches were kind of going down into it. So I'm going to go ahead and run that through. I guess I probably shouldn't have put tape on there first. I don't know if you guys can see that detail, but that just kind of helps really sandwich all of those layers together. And then for this one, I'm going to actually have the embossing raised on this piece. So that's what this one is going to end up looking like. And then the rest is just assembling all of our pieces together. So we're going to start with the Cajun Craze, and that's just going to go up here towards the top, keeping our edges even. And then our Very Vanilla embossed piece. And centering that again. And then I'm going to take and I didn't put any dimensional elements on this. So we're going to take our Early Espresso, and that's just going to go centered in here. And then finally our quilted top. Just like so. I thought because there was so many layers in here that I really didn't need to use any additional dimensional, dimension on it. Then let me grab out our early espresso, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp our sentiment on the front. Make sure this gets inky. I needed to order some more inker, so it's coming, but I don't have it yet, so hopefully this will. And this is just going to go right down here at the bottom. Perfect. And then on the inside, which I don't tend to stamp a lot or decorate a lot on the inside, but I kind of liked how the stamps that kind of, you know, carried on into the inside. I'm going to pull this down just a little bit, and then I'm going to, I can't hardly see where I'm stamping here. Let's see if I can, oh, well, that was special. Did you see all those marks I made on there? Okay, so there's that. Well, I guess that's going to be on the inside of it, so I'll have to figure out how to cover that up without having inky hands or anything. And the last thing that we're going to, well, maybe not last thing, but then I went ahead and tied our ribbon just in a knot. So it's going to go, I just tied it over here on the side. And just be careful, like one of them I tied a little bit too tight, so then my paper kind of bowed in a little bit. So you want it, you know, loose enough where your paper won't bow in, but that your ribbon's not going to float all over the place. And I also ended up putting like a glue dot underneath of it just to kind of hold it on and hold it in place. So I think I'm going to have to do that with this one for sure. So then I just kind of trimmed off our little ends here, and let me grab a glue dot. My glue dots are kind of big right now, so for this one I just folded it in half and stuck underneath. So that's just going to go down here, and that way it holds it in place for you. So just like that. And then lastly, we're going to put a little enamel shape, just a little circle here in the center to bring all of our soft sky together. So the corners, the ribbon, and then your eye comes here to the center to create that one. So let me bring back this other one, and you will have extra supplies. You know, once you cut this one, you'll have extra paper to kind of play around with the rest. So there it is. That is our card for today. I can't wait for my girls to make these on Friday. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will check you next time with my next project. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.